Hello, my name is Aldo Fonseca, and I'm the International Admission Coordinator here at Florida International University. I want to thank all of you guys for coming out and logging on and joining me here for a presentation on the university. I'll be answering some questions for the next half an hour for the most part, but I'll be also giving a quick backdrop on the university, some of the services that it offers, and other intriguing facts about the university itself. So if you want to, you can log in and you can start sending me questions, anything that's on your mind. Para también los que prefieren hablar en español, si me mandan las respuestas o las preguntas, las preguntas en español, yo lo puedo responder en español. So for all of you guys joining me, thank you again. And well, let's get started. There is, in front of you, as part of this webcast, there is a PowerPoint slide that you can go through, and you can basically look at some of the information from the university. And some of the background is that the university itself is very young. So like a lot of our students here, we're a very young school. We actually have been around for about 50 years now. We were founded in 1965, so we're about to celebrate 50 years of FIU. And some of the things to key know is that we're located in Miami, Florida. So for those of you coming from Latin America, this should be like a second home to you. And we have about 54,000 students, so making us one of the largest universities in the United States. We also offer about 200 different areas of study at the graduate and undergraduate level. So there's probably a good chance that anything you're interested in studying, we will have something that can accommodate you, something that we can help you with. Now, the university itself is, besides that, is a very diverse campus. In fact, we're actually one of the top 20 most diverse universities in the United States. And we're also the university that has awarded more degrees to Hispanic and Latin American students than any other university in the United States. So for those of you coming from Latin America, for those of you that are of Hispanic descent, this is definitely an environment where you're going to feel comfortable. You hear English, Spanish, Portuguese fairly regularly. And if you're coming from the Caribbean, we also have a very big Caribbean population, Trinidadian students, Jamaican students, Bahamian students. So there's a very diverse crowd here at FIU. It makes us one of the most unique campuses in the United States. Aside from that, there's a lot to do on campus besides just the studying, which is very important and your number one priority. But aside from that, what you do outside the classroom is actually just as important to us, because everything shows that students that have a well-rounded life, that have friends, that go out and enjoy things, that are part of clubs and organizations, they tend to do better academically. So we always encourage our students to join clubs and organizations, groups, and activities. And we actually have about 300 student-run organizations on campus. So almost anything you can possibly imagine, from a Harry Potter fan club and a Quidditch team, to mixed martial arts club, to fraternities and sororities, which are very, very, very common on campus. There's a lot for you guys to do. Now, I'm going to be taking questions. I'm going to be looking at the screen and reading out loud some of the questions that I receive as I go. And we're also going to be talking about some of the slides that I have listed on the website itself. Okay, so Miss Luisa Gomez from Coral Springs wants to know about the Biscayne Bay campus and if students can take classes there. And the answer is yes. The university actually has two main campuses. For those of you that are not familiar, we have the Modesto MID campus, which is located on 8th Street and 107th Avenue. And we also have the Biscayne Bay campus, which is located closer to North Miami Beach, and it's right on the water. So that houses some of our most popular majors, like hospitality and tourism, journalism and mass communication, and marine biology, which are some of the majors that are housed there. Now, as an undergraduate student, remember that your first 2 years at the university, you can actually take your first 2 years of courses, which we call the general curriculum. You can actually take that in either of these two campuses. So you can sign up to take those courses, some courses in the Modesto MID in the morning, and then you can take some courses in the Biscayne Bay campus at night or in the evening. And the best thing about it is that you don't have to necessarily drive there back and forth. We actually have an FIU shuttle that you can take at any time during the day, and you can go from Modesto MID to the Biscayne Bay campus and back. So it's very common for students to want to experience a different kind of environment, to take a couple courses, maybe a few semesters over at Biscayne Bay, or vice versa. Maybe they're in Biscayne Bay and that's the primary campus, and they want to take a couple courses in Modesto MID. So you can do both, and you can get the big state school experience at Modesto MID campus, or you can get sort of like the smaller, more private, smaller college experience by going to the Biscayne Bay campus. Alfredo wants to know what kind of restaurants are on campus. Like, what are the venues on campus where you can go? Well, that's actually one of the more popular topics that I talk to with students. The university actually has about, I think it's like 24 or more different venues on campus. Some of the ones that I can remember off the top of my head. My favorite one is Chili's. So we have a Chili's on campus. It's literally about a 5-minute walk from where I am. It's located in the GC, the Graham Center the Graham Center, and the Graham Center is sort of like the student nerve center. That's where all the fraternities and sorority and clubs and organizations tend to congregate. So there you have Chili's, you have Almazar's, if you like Mediterranean Greek food. You also have Burger King, Pollo Tropical. We have a Subway. Also in PG5, which is a little bit, PG5 is basically a parking garage slash food court. There's also more venues there. We have Mr. Mo, Southwestern Grill. We have a Chick-fil-A. We have Salad Creations, Papa John's Pizza. So there's a lot of different things to eat on campus. If you want healthy foods, if you want pizza, if you want burgers and things like that, you got a lot of options. Okay, so Marcel from El Paso wants to know if FIU is a state school and what's the difference between in-state and out-of-state. The cost for in-state and out-of-state. Well, FIU is a public institution. We are we're the largest and the only public institution in Southern Florida. The difference between in-state and out-of-state tuition is basically for those of people that are Florida residents or whose parents are Florida residents, I should say, they get to pay an in-state rate, which is roughly 1/3 of an out-of-state student. So, for example, the university makes doesn't distinguish between people that come from, let's say, if you're coming from Brazil or if you're coming from New York, you're actually going to pay the exact same rate. The only students that get a discounted rate or a lower rate are actually students' parents or residents of Florida. So for all those Florida residents out there, your tuition is incredibly affordable, and it makes it easy to graduate without debt. David from Boca Raton wants to know if the admissions department is hiring tour guides and what are the jobs that are available. The admissions department I don't know if they're currently hiring tour guides, but we regularly take applications and we regularly cycle in new tour guides all year long, because you see, tour guides are students and sometimes their semesters, because of the classes that they take, they may or may not be available. So we always have a stack of applications and students that we interview year long to fill those gaps. So if you're interested in being a tour guide for my office, you can definitely apply as a student. And besides that, I mean, we're talking about a university that is about 54,000 students strong. So you can imagine there's a lot of services that need student workers, whether it's working in Chili's, whether it's working in the library. I actually worked on the 5th floor of the library while I was a student here at FIU. It was one of the best jobs of my life. And so whether you're working with your department, like I said, there's lots of opportunities, not only for students from the U.S. and who are residents or citizens of the U.S., but for international students that are only allowed to work on campus. There's a lot of different places you can go to. Now, the only thing is that it's on you to find these jobs and to apply for them. Okay, Dolores from New York, the Big Apple, wants to know if FIU offers housing. Yes, we do. In fact, the housing is, living on campus is probably, in my opinion, one of the best experiences you can have at FIU. Freshman students are actually guaranteed housing at FIU, and whereas a lot of universities offer dorm rooms, FIU offers suite-style apartment living. So that means instead of opening your doors and you seeing, let's say, just 2 beds, a desk, you might have one window, or you share a bathroom with another dorm room if you're lucky. Or for a lot of universities, you actually have like a sort of communal shower type of arrangement, which sounds atrocious. FIU actually has modern style living. So you walk in and there's a common area or living room. There's a kitchen or a kitchenette. There are separate bedrooms. Now, you may or may not have a bunkmate, depending if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, or senior, but more options are available the longer you live on campus. The best thing about it is each apartment comes equipped with its own bathroom. So you only have to share with your roommates. And some of our newer model apartments, some of them have 2 bathrooms in every apartment, meaning you might only have to share with one other roommate. So there's a lot of options at FIU. It is modern style living. The university offers wireless internet and cable access television. So you can come in, plug in your TV, you can come in, plug in your laptop, or just have it wirelessly, and you'll be immediately set up with the university's network. So there definitely is modern style living. It is really one of the point of prides of the university. And for students that come and visit and come to tours, one of the things they always talk about when they leave is how great the housing was. So if you are able to live on campus, and it's not required, but we'd strongly recommend it if you and your parents come to and say, yeah, we can do it, you can live on campus, it's great, it's a wonderful experience, and I strongly recommend it for anybody who's interested in the university. Okay, Maria Fernandez, representing Hialeah, wants to know if she can bring a car on campus as a freshman. And the answer is yes. Freshmen are not restricted. They're not restricted by having cars on campus. You don't have curfews. No one's checking up if you're staying out late or anything like that. As a freshman, you have a right to have a car on campus. Everyone can get parking decals included if you want in your tuition. So you just have to come to campus, do orientation, and if you have a car and you want to get a decal, all you got to do is ask them to take you to parking transportation, and you can set yourself up. You can have your car on campus, and it's definitely, Miami being a commuter city, I wish there was more mass transportation, but it being largely a commuter city, having a car on campus can make life a little bit more, a little bit easier to get around. Especially, you will be a popular person on campus, especially if you live on campus, because a lot of students will be looking for you for potential rides and helping them out and things like that. So you'll definitely be popular on campus when you have a car, especially if you're a freshman. Jody Cortina from Aventura, Florida, wants to know if undocumented students can attend FIU. The answer is yes. Anybody can attend FIU. Your legal status, your age, your religion, nothing. There is no discrimination at FIU. Anybody who wants to study here can study here. So all you have to do is be academically eligible. That means that you have to apply to the university to submit, whatever transcripts you may have, whether they're university transcripts or high school transcripts. The requirements are, change a little bit. But if you want to study at FIU, you're going to have the opportunity to apply regardless of your legal status. Now, the only difference is when it comes to paying in-state tuition or out-of-state. That's the only time FIU is going to ask for residency status, because if we can qualify you as in-state, then you'll pay a lot less, like I just mentioned. If you were undocumented, then you can actually apply to be, and if you're undocumented, for example, there's different programs like DACA students are able now to pay as in-state tuition. But you want to come check with our office, you want to check residency, our office of registrar as well, to see if you can qualify to get in-state. But academically speaking, anybody can study at FIU so long as you're eligible academically for admission. Okay, let's see. Ray Damas from Los Angeles wants to know if you've ever seen Jennifer Lopez, D. Wade, or Rick Sanchez. You know what? I've never seen Rick Sanchez or J-Lo. I've seen D. Wade though. D. Wade is actually a huge part of the community, and yeah, I saw him once and it was over down in North Miami Beach. Actually, it was by I think it was just at a mall, and he was just walking around kind of like incognito with some shades and stuff like that. But it was pretty awesome, and it was a little too starstruck to go say anything or ask for an autograph. But D. Wade and a lot of the Miami Heat players, they take an active role in the community, so it's definitely not uncommon to see them at some of the nicer places in Miami. They're definitely going to be in South Beach. You're going to be at the nice restaurants, and if you have a kind of like want to go out and explore the Miami socially, you want to go to a club or a bar or something like that, and you're over the age of 21, there's a good chance you're going to run into some very familiar faces, some famous faces. So that's one of the things Miami is known for. One of the many things, probably. So yeah, I have seen a couple of stars here living down here in Miami. It's kind of hard not to, actually. Okay, Lupe Ayala wants to know if FIU has intramural tennis, and the answer is I'm not absolutely certain. I want to say yes. I'd have to check it right here, and I'm going to do that real quick. And the good thing about if you want to find something out and you don't have access to, let's say, an international admission coordinator doing a live show, the easiest thing for you to do is go to fiu.edu, and in the search index, all you have to type in is intramural tennis, for example, in this case. And it'll immediately bring up all the search results. So as part of the recreational activities at the university, yes, there is a intramural tennis tournament. So there you go. Now the university actually doesn't offer men's tennis at the Division I level. We do offer women's tennis at the Division I level. But if you still want to, maybe you're not going to compete at the Division I level, which is very common. Not all of us are outstanding athletes. athletes, you can still have a lot of fun. You can still take part in tournaments. You can still keep yourself athletically fit and enjoy playing the sport you like, being part of intramural sports. Intramural sports at FIU is huge. We actually built an intramural field just for our tournaments. So if you're interested, we have actually 2 indoor arenas for basketball and all the activities that you can do indoor volleyball, etc. And we also have 2 outdoor intramural fields that are used constantly. I mean, we even have Quidditch matches where our Quidditch team actually plays against other Quidditch teams from other universities. So there's a lot of different activities on campus, and sports-wise, there's more than you can possibly do while you're here at the university. You'd have to come to the university for like a good solid, 20 years to maybe take part in all the intramural sports that we have here. So it's a lot of options, a lot of variety. Okay, moving on to the next question. Denise from Key West wants to know if FIU has a football team, and do a lot of kids go to the game? Well, we actually do have a team. It was actually a very young team, and the first year that I was here at FIU, which was back in 2002 as a freshman student, I actually went to the first FIU football game, and that was actually I think we were Division III back then. We won that game, and we made history right there because it was, FIU was going to start the football program, and it was a very big deal. We flash forward to a few years. 2008, 2009, the university actually had a lot of success. And within the first decade, actually, we became bowl eligible, and we had actually produced NFL level talent like T.Y. Hilton. If you've ever seen the Colts play, T.Y. Hilton's one of the best receivers, and he's an FIU graduate. So the football program at FIU, while it's still young and still taking a lot of baby steps forward, it is definitely moving forward, especially with an on-campus stadium that seats over 20,000 students. Now, right now, the stadium gets filled for big events like homecoming, things like that. When we were winning our bowl games and when we had T.Y. Hilton on the game, those stadiums were getting pretty big, and the tailgating was a lot of fun. Right now, the university, the football team is sort of breaking in a new coach. Just started last year. There's a bunch of students that graduate, so we have a new sort of like young talent on the team that's still developing. So the attendance rate isn't as high as we would like, but it's definitely going to get stronger. The university is actually thinking of adding an upper deck to the stadium in order to meet the demand, and we're sure that the university, being located in South Florida with all the rich football talent in the state and all the talent in this area, is going to have a very strong football team, is going to have a very strong football tradition. We're already off to a very good start. All right. Chris Cortez from Fort Lauderdale wants to know the ratio of males to female. Well, Chris, straight to the point, and definitely not a bad thing to know. I mean, you want to know what kind of environment you're in, which that's certainly part of it. The university is actually 57% female. So, Chris, you're going to be outnumbered. You're going to be outnumbered almost like 30,000. I have about 30,000 females on campus. So, yeah, that's actually one of the things that, for some reason, when I tell a lot of male students to do recruiting around the world, I'm like, yeah, I tell them it's 50% female. That's when I suddenly get all the guys' attention, like very quick. And the cool thing is also we represent about 150 countries. So we're talking about people from all over the world. We're talking about a lot of people from Latin America. Some of our biggest feeders are Brazil, Colombia, Venezuela. So it's definitely a very vibrant kind of community. It's people that, really you're getting to know people from around the world, and you're getting to experience different cultures and stuff like that. So it's a lot of fun here. It's a great population. Moving on to the next question. Lisa Medina from Cooper City wants to know if FIU has a medical school, and if pre-med advisors and are the pre-med advisors during undergraduate degree. Okay, so basically what you're asking then is, yes, we do have a school of medicine. School of medicine is about 5 years old, I want to say, and our first year we actually had about 3,600 applicants. And out of all those applicants, we admitted a total of 42 students, making it one of the most difficult schools of medicine to attend in almost in the state for sure, and almost in the United States. So the demand for medicine, for nursing here in South Florida is huge. It's a very powerful industry, and the School of Medicine at FIU is immediately and quickly emerging as a spectacular choice for medicine. Now keep in mind that is a postgraduate degree, meaning that you first have to complete a bachelor's degree, and for students who are interested in pre-med, you can do a biology or chemistry degree, and do a pre-med tract, which covers all the prerequisites that you need in order to later apply for the School of Medicine. Now, pre-med biology actually has about a 92% success rate in students getting admitted to med school after graduation. So we are very, very good at not only getting students into the FIU School of Medicine, but into other medical schools from around the world, from around the country. You do have advisors in that department that are basically their job is to make sure that you not only graduate on time and graduate in with the best possible grades, but also they help you do the application and they help you with your path towards the School of Medicine. So they definitely go above and beyond. You will get a lot of assistance if you want to be a pre-med, but it is incredibly difficult. I mean, they only take the absolute best students. That means in any of your science courses while you're at FIU, you cannot get anything less than an A. It really is that difficult, that cutthroat. So you definitely have to be an exceptional student. You got to realize that you're going to be working hard when a lot of other students are, you know, maybe going out to homecoming and going out at night. You might be in a library studying, and that's just a sacrifice you have to make because we only want the best doctors. Okay. Emmanuel Cruz from Kendall wants to know if there is a rugby team. Men's rugby, I'm going to have to search to see if we have men's. I know we have a women's rugby team. I have to check on a men's rugby team. I'll actually check right now. But I was able to see a women's rugby match once when I was an undergrad, and I'll have to tell you that that was the most vicious sport I've ever seen in my life. I mean, they say that women are the fairer sex, and that's the typical stereotype, but those women on that rugby match were not playing around, and I was actually a little bit scared. But yeah, it looks like the FIU does have a men's rugby team and a men's rugby club, and they play against other universities. So yes, absolutely, you can do a men's rugby, intramural sports or club. But we don't have it as a Division I sport, so if you're interested in doing that as a Division I sport, that's a sport that tends to be a little bit more popular in the north or in the northeast. All right, Victor Sanchez from New York wants to know if you need to have good SAT scores to get it. All right, I'm glad you actually brought this up because we haven't really talked about the admission requirements to get admitted into FIU. FIU requires from students coming from inside the U.S., it requires that you submit, besides the electronic applications, you have to send us your high school transcripts up to 3 years. If you're in your final year of high school and you haven't finished it, that's fine. Just send us your last 3 years of high school. And you have to send us SAT or ACT test scores. Now, the kind of the scores that you want to aim for, especially if you're applying for fall, is in the mid-1500 range. So if you're scoring 1550 and higher, and you have a solid 3.3 weighted GPA, then you're in very good shape for getting admitted to the university. Now, what I will stress to students is that you need to apply as soon as humanly possible. A lot of universities, including FIU, are already admitting students. So we started admitting students as early as July. So if you haven't applied yet, then you're really starting to fall behind, and you really need to get that application out there. The reason is simple. When in this semester, this fall semester, we actually have a lot of space available for students, and we can make quick admission decisions if you have the grades. So you can apply today, and in a couple of weeks have an admission decision already at FIU if you have strong grades. If you wait till next spring, since the university is rolling admission, meaning we reserve the right to change our admission criteria, next spring we may have 30,000 applicants, of which maybe 5,000 of those have 3.5 or 3.7 GPAs. So it's really hard to stand out in a crowd of about 30,000 students. So this is why you don't want to you don't want to take that chance of the admission criteria going up. You want to apply now while the admission criteria is manageable. It's definitely a 3.3 weighted. It is not hard, especially if you took APs or AP courses or honors courses. We're actually going to reward you for that. We give you our own FIU calculated GPA, and you can take the SAT or the ACT as many times as you want. Now the ACT, you want to aim for about a 23 ACT, and you want to make sure you don't get lower than a 19 in each section of the ACT. For the SAT, like I said, mid-1500 range, 1550 or higher is really good. An admission consideration will be made on that. And you don't want to get anything lower than a 460 in each section of the SAT. That is something that will automatically put you deferred, and because it's a state of Florida requirement. So make sure you keep in mind also that the university super scores. So we don't care if you take the SAT 1 time or 10 times. We'll combine your best scores to give you the best chance of getting admitted to the university. So make sure you take the SAT early and often, or the ACT. Make sure you send it to the transcripts, and the minute we can admit you, we're going to admit you. Okay, Genesis Ostadio from South Beach wants to know if she can transfer from Miami-Dade College. The answer is absolutely yes. In fact, a very big percentage of the students here at FIU are actually transfer students. So we're a very transfer-friendly university. Broward College, Miami-Dade College, these are our top feeder colleges. Like, a lot of students come from there. We have a great relationship with both those colleges. So if you're going to Miami-Dade College and you're finishing up your associate's degree, that's great, because if you have 60 credits or more, or an associate's degree from one of the colleges, community colleges here in Florida, you will be your application is essentially complete with just your transcripts, transcripts, and you're absolutely done. And then you get admitted to the university based on your college GPA. So it's the easiest way, the application-wise, the easiest way to go about it is to transfer in with 60 credits or more, especially from Miami-Dade, especially from Broward College. Okay, Jessica Rodriguez from Miami works full-time during the day and wants to know if FIU offers online classes and night classes. And the answer is yes. I mean, you're going to find a variety of different options for your courses. Students can take online courses. You can mix it together. You're going to take one, you can take two, you can take three. It's entirely up to you. Keep in mind that there's a different fee structure, tuition charges, or things like that for online courses, so you want to keep an eye on that. But you can definitely take online courses and mix it in with traditional courses. You can also take courses at any time during the day, so long as it's made available by the department. So let's say you have 3 English courses. One can be at 8 o'clock in the morning, the other one can be at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and the last one can be, at 8 o'clock at night. It really depends on the department and the professor. So the good thing about it is that generally speaking, students have a lot of options, and the university is very flexible on you making a schedule. So let's say you work in the morning and you can only come in the afternoon. That's great. We have lots of students that do that. They come in, they take evening or night courses in order to complete their degrees. You can also take classes on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday, or Tuesday and Thursday. There are also some classes that are offered during the weekend, and they're one segment essentially of a 3-hour course, and you sit there and you take it for 3 hours, and then you're done for the week. So you're going to have a lot of options, to make it fit around your schedule. We understand this is a university that caters to the very, different backgrounds from students. Like, a lot of students have to work. You're working for, to maintain yourself, or you're working to maintain your family. This is a university that understands that, and that really makes taking courses as easy as possible for you, so you can complete your degree within the 4 to 5 years. All right. Now, Joanna from New Mexico wants to know if FIU is a commuter school, or does it have an active campus life? And the answer is both, actually. I mean, you don't have to be one or the other. If you're a commuter school, you can have an active campus life. And the FIU has long been known as a commuter school, especially when it first started. However, over the last about 15 years, that's started to change dramatically. The university really got aggressive about building apartments on campus. They got aggressive about offering lots of clubs and activities, about making sure that students stay on campus to enjoy everything the university has to offer. So right now, I mean, you can, if you want, go to class, do whatever you need academically, and then go back home or go back to your dorm. But if you do that, your apartment. But if you do that, you're missing out on really the best parts of going to the university, which is really, believe it or not, hanging out with your friends and fraternities or sororities, being clubs and part of clubs and organizations. So the university really embodies and embraces pretty much the active student life. In fact, almost all our clubs and activities are created and run by students. So if you come on campus and you find that you want to be, you wanted to start a Harry Potter club, and for some reason there isn't a Harry Potter club, well, then we encourage you to start one. You get 9 other friends together, and there you go. You have your Harry Potter club. So there is a very, very diverse campus life, a very, very active campus life, but it's entirely up to you if you're going to be a part of it. No one's going to force it to you. You're going to have to look for what you like, and you're going to have a lot of options when you do. All right, Renzo wants to know if she lived with her grandma and Kendall and get in the in-state tuition rate. Wow, that's a great question. Renzo wants to know if he can live with his grandma and Kendall and get in-state tuition. His parents live in San Antonio. Okay, Renzo, basically what in-state means is that your parents or your legal guardians are residents of Florida. So if you happen to have an uncle or a grandmother who is your legal guardian, and then yes, you can get in-state. But more often than not, more commonly, your parents are your sole legal guardians, and if they are not Florida residents, then no, you are going to have to pay as an out-of-state student. And I get this question all the time, especially when I'm traveling in Latin America. I have a lot of students in coming from Costa Rica or Colombia, and they're like, "Oh, I have an uncle and lives in Miami. Can I use him as as my dependent to get in-state tuition?" And the answer is no. I'm sorry. Your parents have to be residents of Florida. Now, there's a couple things that you can do yourself in order to get in-state tuition. For example, there's a few students that work a lot and they make over $10,500 a year, and then they can claim themselves as independent. And then we can review their residency status based on them, not their parents. If you're married, if you're over the age of 24, if you served in the armed forces, the university is going to make exceptions and give you look at you as an independent and then review your status based on your residency status. So there's definitely a lot of different options, a lot of different ways. I encourage you to give us a call at our office if you have any questions more particular about the residency status, because we can really talk about it. We can see what options are available to you. All right, Laura Cruz from Canada wants to know if there's a good place on campus where she can get a café con leche. And the answer is, yeah, there's a lot of good places on campus where you can get one. My favorite is actually Bustelo's, and my colleague and I think Marcel, his name is Marcel, and we actually visit it pretty regularly. Almost every single morning, you'll see us in line in Bustelo's getting we get a cortadito, which is just another option for you, but definitely café con leche for sure. And being in Miami, I mean, we're home to some of the best coffee in the world, so definitely you're not going to lack for options when it comes to getting your caffeine fix. Natalie wants to know if FIU has a law school. Yes, FIU has a great law school. In fact, I would say, in fact, we have the best law school in the state of Florida. 92% of our students passed the bar exam last year, which is an incredible percentage. And we have, I think, the number 26 ranked law school in the country, actually. So we do have an exceptional law school. And the great thing about law is that as a student, you can major in anything you want. Law school doesn't say you have to get a major in political science or something like that. You can major in music or philosophy or history or mathematics or whatever and still graduate and go to law school. What they're going to be looking at is a strong GPA, obviously. You're going to have to take your LSAT exams, and you're going to have to get great letters of recommendation and write a killer essay. Law school is incredibly competitive. I think they only average about, their class sizes, I only average about 100 total students in each one of their classes. So you're never going to find the law school is absolutely beautiful as its own library, and then, since there's only 100 students, there's a very small student to faculty ratio. So they get a lot of personal attention. They take intense courses, and yeah, it's probably one of the best programs at the postgraduate level that the university offers. For those of you that are just joining me, my name is Aldo Fonseca. I'm the International Admission Coordinator here at FIU, so I just wanted to reiterate that. My territories include Western Hemisphere in general, so all of Latin America, Canada, the Caribbean. I'm definitely I do extensive traveling in the region, so there's a very good chance that if you're coming from Latin America, that there's a good chance that I've visited your school at one point or another. I'm taking questions, so anybody has any questions about the university, feel free to shoot them in my direction, and I'll answer as many as I possibly can before time's up. And again, there's a slideshow available here that you can look and you can get general admission information about the university. You can also get information about campus life. You can get information about some of the degrees and some of the departments, some of the schools that are offered within the university, what you can major in. Well, we're going to get back to the questions now. Nicole Suarez attended college in Venezuela. Can she transfer her credits to FIU? Yes, she can. We have transfers from all over the world. All over the world, people come and they transfer in credits in and out. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that transferring credits from one university to another, especially from one from outside the university, is something that is particular to the major that you took. Is particular to how if we offer the classes that you're trying to transfer in. So don't assume anything. The important thing to remember is that if you're coming from outside the university, outside of the United States, and you're coming with university transcripts, you're going to have to send those transcripts to a member of NACES.org. That is NACES.org. And you're going to ask them to do a course-by-course evaluation and translation. Once we receive that course-by-course evaluation and translation, we'll be able to see how many of those credits we can accept from your university from outside the U.S. If you surpass the 60 credit the 60 credit, if you surpass 60 credits, then the university actually doesn't require you to take the SAT. But if you have 59 credits or less that are acceptable to us, then you will have to take the SAT. You'll also have to send us your high school transcripts and take the TOEFL. The TOEFL is required regardless of the 60 credit kind of like point. Also, keep in mind that when you're transferring credits, just because the university accepted those credits doesn't mean that they can all be applied to the degree that you're trying to complete. Example of this, let's say I took business courses at La Metropolitana in Venezuela. I went from high school, I went to the Metropolitana, I started taking business courses, and I got 2 years completed, 60 credits. So I tried to transfer that to FIU. We may accept all those 60 credits, but the university, the department, business in particular, may still ask you to retake a lot of those 60 credit courses so that you learn FIU business, the taught from the FIU faculty. So in the applying of those credits, that's when you might lose a few of those credits. So you should never assume that just because you took 60 credits, that I only have 60 more credits to go, 2 years, and I'm done. You might actually have to go to school for 3 years or even more. Remember, in the U.S., also for students who are coming from outside the U.S., the system is a little bit different. Your first 2 years in college are general courses. It's not until your last 2 years that you actually go into your particular major. So you have to complete those general courses regardless of where you're coming from. So if you only took business courses and you have 60 credits there, you'll still need to complete those first 2 general admission, those general core curriculum courses. Okay, moving on. Jose from North Miami wants to know if FIU has any accelerated programs where you can get a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in 4 to 5 years. Apologies. The answer is yes. We do have accelerated programs. The most typical, the most common one, and one of the most popular is actually our School of Architecture. The School of Architecture is a limited access accelerated program, meaning you have to apply for general admission to the university just like any other student, and you also have to apply for admission to the School of Architecture. Now what happens is that once you are admitted to the School of Architecture, not only you're not going to complete 4 years and get a bachelor's degree, you're going to actually have to go to school for 5 to 6 years because we only offer a master's degree. So by getting admitted to the School of Architecture as an incoming freshman, you have been admitted to a master's program. So it's definitely a huge draw. It is incredibly competitive, and some of the things to keep in mind is that if you're going to be doing architecture, you really want to complete the admission requirements, the general admission requirements, as early as possible, because next semester you want to focus on doing the portfolio, which is required for the School of Architecture. So that will determine if they will admit you to the university or not. Once you're in, like I said, it's about 6 years of study, depending on how many credits you take per semester, and you finish the program with a master's degree. So it's definitely a phenomenal program. Architecture is incredibly popular at FIU, and if you're interested in that, that is just one of the programs that offers an accelerated program. Lisa wants to know if from Kendall wants to know if FIU has nursing, and the answer is absolutely yes. We have pre-nursing, and we also have a postgraduate nursing degree as well. So being that we do live in Miami and South Florida, nursing, all the health sciences are always in high demand. So people that graduate in that field, they're always going to have great prospects for employment right afterwards. Our nursing department is ultra competitive. It is really up there with the School of Medicine in terms of its competitiveness. And for nursing, I think that you definitely want to be an A student in all your science courses as well. While you're not maybe required to go to a school of postgraduate education in nursing in order to work in the field, it is definitely encouraged that you do, because even now the industry itself is so competitive that really having that higher degree and a postgraduate degree in nursing is really going to give you an edge. So if you're thinking about nursing, I strongly recommend that you fit in a postgraduate education in there, so you realize that you should not only graduate with a bachelor's, but you need to be considering a postgraduate degree in order to really compete in the industry, especially in South Florida. All right, I want to thank everybody again for submitting their questions. I hope you guys enjoyed the presentation. Like I said, there is a slideshow that you guys can go through. It has a lot of information about the university, some of the majors, it has information on admissions. And also be sure to check out our website, admissions.fiu.edu. It has the information that you need in order to apply to the university. For those of you that are finishing high school this year, my strongest recommendation is that you come visit our website immediately and you start that application process as soon as possible if you haven't done so already. Like I said, we work with rolling admission, which means that we can admit you as soon as that application is completed and as soon as you're academically eligible. So don't wait. Other than that, it's been great. If you have any other questions, feel free to contact us. And thanks again for listening. And have a good day.